This is a bizarre and twisted case about fatal attraction. This person would stop at nothing to get what they wanted. They were very obsessive. This case involves threats, vandalism, hundreds of texts, emails, arson, a shooting, and lastly, a murder. Let's unravel the twisted web of lies right now. Happy Wicked Wednesday, my Cajun cuties. How are y'all doing tonight? It is me, Anne Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carrickville, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that y'all like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press on that notification bell so y'all never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. I hope y'all all have a beverage. I hope y'all have a snuggle partner or a snuggle fur partner. Those are the best. And y'all ready to listen to this story with me, Anne Marie. Let's get into it. Today we are going to be talking about Carrie Farver, the disturbing and bizarre case of fatal attraction. Carrie was born and raised in Iowa. She was a beautiful 37-year-old single mother who was a computer programmer. On one fall, beautiful October morning in Omaha, Nebraska, she brought her Ford Explorer into a body shop, and that is where she met Dave Cooper. Dave was a recently single man. He had just split up from the mother of his child, Amy Flora, after 12 years of being together. He was new to the dating world, but wanted to jump back in the dating pool. He decided to turn to dating apps, the internet. He also said whenever he met Carrie, there was an instant spark, an instant attraction. He knew there was something there. He describes her as being very, very confident. Well, the first person he met on this dating site was Shanna Liz Goyer. She basically went by Liz. He describes Liz as being very sexy, nice, and fun. They hit it off. But Dave said that there was more of a chemistry between he and Carrie. But he was casually dating, y'all. He didn't want to jump into anything serious. He just wanted to date around. He was not ready to settle down with anyone, just having fun. Carrie and Dave went to Applebee's on their first date. They were laughing, having fun, sparks were flying. They really hit it off. After their date, they share a kiss. Dave invites Carrie over to his place and they start kissing again. She stops him and says, "Look, before this goes any further, I'm not your girlfriend. You're not my boyfriend. I want no strings attached." Dave thought he hit the jackpot. He wanted to just casually date. He didn't want to jump into anything serious, and neither did Carrie. In the meantime, Carrie had a big project coming up at work. She lived over an hour from her job. Dave only lived 1 minute from her job. So Dave gives her a key and says, "Look, you can stay here until your project is over. It's very close to work." And he had a lot of trust in Carrie. He liked her a lot. And she agreed. She said, "Thank you so much. This is really going to help me." And in the meantime, Liz goes to the house to get a few things and supposedly crosses paths with Carrie, and Carrie said a bad word to Liz. This is what Liz claims. On a beautiful November 13th, 2012 morning, Dave wakes up, gets ready for work, walks into the living room, and there's Carrie working on her project. He gives her a kiss, tells her to have a good day, and he's off to work. Then, all of a sudden, Dave starts getting these text messages, lots of text messages. The first one from Carrie says, "Let's move in together," which was way out of left field. Remember, Dave and Carrie had already discussed that they did not want to get into anything serious. So Dave was confused. He texts back, "No, we already discussed that, and neither one of us want to move in together. We don't want to move too fast." Well, y'all, it gets worse. Much worse. Carrie texts Dave back saying, "Fine, I hate you. I'm already seeing someone else. Go away," and lots of profanity. Dave said, God, I dodged a bullet. She's crazy. This isn't the Carrie that I've been knowing for 2 weeks. This is a whole different person. And on that same day, November 13th, 2012, Carrie texted her mom, Nancy, saying, I took a job in Kansas. I'm moving to Kansas, which was very weird and strange. When Nancy told Carrie's son, Max, remember, Nancy was keeping Max, who was a teenager, while Carrie was working on this big project at Dave's. She was expected to return soon. When she confronted Max and said, Max, your mom said that y'all are moving to Kansas. He said that could be true because she was talking about taking a job in Kansas, and she even looked around at different jobs. It was all very, very weird. Everything was strange. And at the age of 20, Carrie was diagnosed with bipolar. She was on her meds and seeing a therapist. Everything was going smooth. Her friends said she was fun, vivacious, and always experimenting in different hairstyles. Just 2 days later, Dave gets more profanity from Carrie, telling him how much she hates him. He ruined her life. Go away. You're going to see me. You're going to hear from me. It was so strange. But she was bipolar, and maybe she stopped taking her meds. So I don't know anything about bipolar, y'all. I have not read up on it much, but I would like y'all to educate me. I would like y'all to put in the comments and tell me about bipolar and tell me what it's all about. Normally, Carrie would speak to her mother, Nancy, at least once a day. I don't know about y'all, maybe because I'm a Cajun or it's a Cajun thing. I talk to my mama at least 20 times a day, and my kids call me all day. Daughters just love it to talk to their mama. We just love it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a comfort thing. Anyway, Nancy knew that Carrie would be back in time for her brother's wedding. And Max was an usher, and she promised Nancy and Max through text message that she was going to be back in time for the wedding. Nancy would constantly text Carrie, call me, call me. She would never call, only text. In the meantime, Dave starts getting text messages again. And one of them really frightened him, and this would frighten me as well. It says, my favorite thing to do is stand outside your window and just stare at you. He was freaked out. He was traumatized. He changed his number, and she would always get his numbers. He couldn't figure out how. Then she starts emailing him. Well, do y'all remember that girl Liz that Dave was seeing before Carrie? Well, they start seeing each other again. And they're happy. They're having fun. They're getting to know each other more. She starts getting texts and emails from Carrie, saying horrible things. Carrie was filled with rage and jealousy in these texts. No one can figure out what was going on. Nancy, her mother, decided to make a police report stating her daughter was missing. Now, y'all, Nancy doesn't know anything about Dave and Liz and Carrie and about all of this drama that's going down in Nebraska. She's in Iowa. She makes a police report. They come over. She reports Carrie missing. And once the police found out that Carrie was bipolar, they jumped on that, y'all, right away. They said, well, sometimes when bipolar individuals get off their meds or stop taking their meds, they have erratic behavior. They didn't know they didn't know what to think. The whole thing was very, very strange. 10 days after Carrie was last seen, Dave gets a call from Liz, which is now his girlfriend. She calls him and says that her garage had been vandalized. There was spray paint on the garage and it wrote, "Whore from Dave." She was freaked out. She called the police. The police was like, this is strange. And they asked Liz who did it. Liz said, I think it's this girl, Carrie. The police went to Dave's and they kind of looked at him funny, like you were the last person to see her. He pulls out his phone and shows the cops thousands of text messages and emails, and they kind of were like, oh, this is what's going on. This sounds like a scorned woman. We've seen this before. They all really said Carrie vandalized Liz's garage. Meanwhile, back in Iowa, Carrie did not show up for her brother's wedding. She did not show up for her son's birthday. but sadly, she did not show up for her dad's funeral that had passed away. They said this was all very, very strange. But Carrie may have been off her meds and acting erratically. I don't know much about bipolar, but if that can happen, y'all let me know down in the comments. Everything was crazy. Now Dave started receiving texts and emails saying, you're wearing a blue shirt, you're sitting down in your recliner, your foot is propped up, you're drinking a Coke. And at that time, that's what he was doing. He was petrified, y'all. I know I would be. I would probably be like losing my mind, sleeping in the closet or something, so scared of it, like a place where there's no windows. The next thing is crazy. Liz, Dave's girlfriend, she starts receiving ugly emails and texts, and just Carrie's just filled with rage and jealousy. The whole thing is this fatal attraction love triangle from a person that, like Carrie, who they say is off their meds and acting erratically. Everything kind of started coming down, but they finally have a clue. Dave spots Carrie's SUV by his apartment. He takes a picture of the license plate, calls the cops. The cops come to retrieve the SUV. They found a fingerprint that wasn't Carrie's on a little mint holder. But when they ran the DNA, there was nothing in their database. They did not know where Carrie was and who was in her vehicle and if she was still alive. Okay, Nebraska is looking for Carrie as a stalker. Iowa is looking for Carrie as a missing person. Everyone is looking for Carrie. Not long after Carrie disappeared, a gentleman calls Nancy, Carrie's mom, and said that Carrie's at a homeless shelter and wants you to come pick her up. Nancy was so excited. I know I would be. I mean, I was so happy when I watched the documentary and I heard that. I was like, oh, good, she's found. Nancy drives hours to go to this homeless shelter. When she gets there, Carrie is not there. She then texts her friend Amber saying, I'm ready to come home. So everyone was just ready to see Carrie. In the meantime, Carrie's son Max writes her on Facebook and says, I need you to answer these 3 questions. What is my middle name? What was our boxer's first name? And what was my friend's name when I was a little kid? She responded with, I've answered enough questions. I don't want to answer anymore. As a son, don't y'all think that hurt Max? Oh, my heart would go out to him. No mother would write that. But Carrie was bipolar. It is just sad. The whole thing is sad because Nancy's looking for her daughter and Max is looking for his mother. Just 9 months after anyone has seen Carrie, Dave gets a call from Liz saying that her house is on fire. They all freak out. Firefighters are called and notice that the fire was set on purpose. They knew that. They can tell. The really devastating part is in the fire, no one was home, but 2 dogs, a cat, and a snake were pronounced deceased at the scene. Oh, that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart that a person can do that knowing animals were in the house. I'm a huge animal person, and that right there broke my heart. Now, Liz's house is on fire. Dave feels terrible for bringing this crazy Carrie into Liz's life. Dave feels bad. He feels sorry for Liz. They become closer and closer. The next text Dave gets is a picture of a woman tied up in a trunk that looks exactly like Liz. And it writes, tell me you hate her or I'll hurt her. Dave calls Liz. Liz laughs and said, I'm fine. Then Carrie writes a fake obituary about Liz, calling her a man stealer. And I'm so glad she's gone. This is getting scarier and scarier and scarier. Now, Carrie is setting fire to places. Everyone is calling her Crazy Carrie. But is it Carrie? Just 2 months later, when Dave arrives at work at his body shop, someone has vandalized his workplace. It says Dave beats women spray painted all over the walls. He was scared he was going to lose his job over this. This man was terrified. He purchased a gun. He was so scared. But police kept seeing Liz's name everywhere on this case. The fire, the text, the emails, everything. Liz was always involved with the cops, and her name was always on these reports. So they decided to bring Liz in and question her. They also asked for her phone. Of course, she denies everything. She's like, I had nothing to do with anybody's disappearance. She hands her phone over, and what they find in her phone is crazy. They find that she called Carrie 6 times the week before Carrie's disappearance. They also found a picture of Carrie's SUV on Liz's phone. Things were getting heated, but there was no evidence. And just a couple of days later, on December 5th of 2015, Liz said she took a walk in a park very late at night and was shot in the leg. The police come, they rush her to the hospital, they speak to her, they ask her, who do you think did this? And she said, I don't know. And then she stopped and said, wait, I recognize the voice as Amy Flora. Now remember, Amy Flora is Dave's ex and the mother of his 2 children. And cops were like, oh my gosh, you think she did it? And she said, yes, and I bet she's the one pretending to be Carrie. The cops are just floored. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. They go to Amy Flora's home. She says, I don't know what y'all talking about. I was home last night. I was with my children. They also checked with the neighbors, and all the neighbors confirmed it. So she was cleared as a suspect. Everything was kind of coming down on Liz. And do y'all remember that fingerprint the cops found? Yeah. It matched to Liz. They had a perfect match. So why was Liz in Carrie's SUV? How was she going to talk her way out of this? And how are they going to go on and prove that Carrie is no longer alive and if Liz did it? Just 24 hours before Liz was shot, Liz filed a harassment complaint on Amy Flora. They had a history, supposedly. She was everywhere. And cops also found out, y'all ready for this? It wasn't Carrie sending those messages. It was Liz sending the messages, pretending to be Carrie. Y'all, I was shocked. I said to myself, how the heck would this happen? I mean, it blew me away. It just blew me away. It's a huge web of lies and deceit. It was crazy. Oh my gosh, crazy. Well, the cops bring Liz in, and she, of course, she denies everything. What are y'all talking about? None of that is true. But they set a trap for Liz. They say, we really think Amy is the one that shot you, and we really think that Amy is pretending to be Carrie, but we just need more details. We need to know about the murder and about the fake phone calls, emails, texts. Well, just 9 days later, Liz starts receiving emails from Amy describing the attack on Carrie and in great detail what she did to Carrie. The cops get the emails from Liz, and they say, we just need more evidence. We don't have enough evidence. 6 weeks go by. Liz is frustrated. She calls the detective. She says, why haven't y'all arrested Amy yet? She gets to kill somebody. She gets to shoot somebody. And now she moved in with Dave, and she gets to have Dave and be free. The cops are like, we just need more details. We can't just arrest someone. We need more details. We have to know about the crime and know about the murder. We still think Amy did everything, but we just need to know more. They were setting another trap. And just days later, y'all, Liz receives an email from Amy describing how the attack happened in Carrie's SUV. She fell for the trap. Now, y'all, I don't know about y'all. I don't know what person in their right mind would email someone digital evidence, okay? Just right in your face, right in your face, looking at this email. Why would Amy send this email to Liz describing? Does she want to get arrested? Does she want to be blamed for this? Did she really do this? They couldn't figure it out, but they knew Carrie had passed away. Liz murdered her and was trying to set up Amy so Amy couldn't have Dave. She lost Dave to Carrie. Now she's losing Dave to Amy. She wanted to eliminate every woman from Dave's life. Now that the cops believe Carrie is dead, they take another look at her SUV. They still had her SUV in their possession. When they lifted up the passenger seat, y'all, a huge blood stain was in the passenger seat. And when it was tested, it was Carrie's blood. And Carrie's phone pinged near Liz's house not long after her disappearance. They are now starting to get all the evidence they need. They also found out that Liz was the one that sent those emails to the cops, supposedly from Amy. And Dave felt horrible. He was bad-mouthing Carrie everywhere, calling her crazy Carrie. But Carrie was the real victim in this case, and he had no clue, absolutely no clue. They believe Liz murdered Carrie and did everything to cover her tracks, everything. She did the fake emails, the fake text messages, timed her text to go off when she was with Dave. She did everything. And just 4 years after Carrie's disappearance, Liz was arrested and maybe gonna be convicted for murder. But could they convict her? You remember, there's no body, there's no eyewitnesses, there's no confession, but they knew it was her. Y'all, this woman did everything to show that Carrie was still alive. She wanted to show she was still alive. And she wanted Dave to feel bad for her. Even setting her house on fire, killing her beloved pets, shooting herself in the leg. The whole thing was just a nightmare. Y'all, this woman is a monster. And in those emails that Liz sent to the cops pretending to be Amy Flora, Dave's ex, she describes how Carrie was begging for her life and she just sat there and watched her die. She also described how she was stabbed in the stomach and the chest area in Carrie's SUV. Then Liz burned her body and threw her away. And that bloodstain that police found in Carrie's SUV, they believe that attack happened in Carrie's SUV and Liz murdered Carrie. But can she be convicted? Could there be enough evidence? And y'all remember when Dave got that text from Carrie and there was a picture of a woman tied up in a trunk with duct tape on her and her arms tied up? Well, the cops found on Liz's phone that it was her and she did it. Y'all, she tied herself up in a trunk, put duct tape around her mouth, and set a timer on her phone to take a picture of her. And Dave was like, God, they really look like Liz, but I didn't think that was her because she was at home whenever I got the text message, and when I called, she answered and they laughed about it. Y'all, this is crazy on a whole different level. This is so bizarre. I've never encountered this in my life. This is crazy what someone would go through to keep a man. This is just insane. This is obsessive, and Dave was her obsession. The prosecutors knew it was a premeditated murder. But the big evidence. Y'all ready for the big evidence? Dave found an iPad in his storage unit that Liz used when they were together. He handed it over to the cops and they found a memory card, and the memory card had tons of pictures on it. And they found a picture of a foot in the state of decomposition on the iPad. When they look into it, it's Carrie's foot because everybody knows she has a certain tattoo on her foot. And it's obviously a foot that's in the state of decomposition. They knew Carrie was dead. And Liz took that picture of Carrie. Now, as we all know, serial killers, they love trophies. They will take anything. Like Ted, he would take panties, he would take a head, he would take hair. A lot of serial killers, they want a trophy so they can look at what they did and feel proud. And they believe that Liz took that picture of Carrie, already deceased, so she could have a trophy. Just 5 years after Carrie's disappearance, Liz Goyard is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and she is convicted of arson. Family and friends of Carrie finally have the justice that they need, that they deserve. It was such a crazy case, but now they believe Carrie is deceased. They have never found her body, but they know she is no longer with us and that Liz Goyard murdered her. My final thought. Y'all know I always come to y'all with my final thought. First of all, did this woman work? Did she have a job? Did she have a life? I know she had 2 kids. How did she take the time to do all of this? To go through all of this? Took time away from her kids? Murdering someone? Shooting herself? Murdering her animals? Her precious animals? That is a lot of just effort to put into someone. She wanted Dave so bad, and that was her obsession. I don't know about y'all, but I'm just way too lazy. I'm not going to go through great lengths to keep someone in my life. And here I'm going to tell y'all right now. Let me tell you this. We don't know about mental health enough to know what Liz was going through. But Liz was, in my opinion, very insecure and thought that Dave was the only man that she could get, which is wrong. You are worthy. You are worthy in more ways than you could imagine. If someone doesn't want you, say bye. If you don't want me, that's your loss. It is not worth it. It is not worth to stay with anyone if they do not want you. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Don't ever think that you are not worth someone. And just realize this, you are worthy, you are special, you have all the qualities that someone wants and needs. Just move on. If somebody doesn't want you, it's their loss, not yours. And I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about this case. Tell me if y'all heard about this case. And let me know down in the comments. I hope y'all have a great week and a great weekend. And I hope that y'all like, subscribe, comment, and make sure to press on that notification bell so y'all never miss a crazy case like this from me, Anne Marie. I love all of you, and I want y'all to always stay safe and know that I appreciate all of you, and I love y'all, and thank you so much for supporting me. And until next time, bye.